Hey y'all, we're back in the Farrell kitchen. We're going to show you how we make the Farrell family's fabulous feathered feast. And the way that we do our fried turkey. Now we use an oilless fryer, and we really like that a whole lot. We've been doing that for several years. Works out really good for us. But the most important thing to me is the brine on the turkey. And we're going to start that today, and that's what I want to show you guys. This thing is rock hard. We're going to thaw it in the brine. That's my process. What you see here is all old spices through the year, not old spice like the stuff you put on your armpits. Don't do that. This is all old spices that come out of the cabinet. You know, I've used most of this, so there's a little bit left. It's starting to get a little tough. We'll just get rid of this whole can. I'm going to put it over here and boil it here shortly. That way I can buy fresh. I've got good fresh spices through the year. All the old stuff goes into the brine. Old Bay, we got some thyme. Rosemary is one that I want to make sure goes in this brine. I really like the way the rosemary works with the turkey, so it's one that I specifically make sure that I have for brine. It's about the only one that I worry about. The rest of the stuff, as long as it's got a salty component, it'll do what I want. A little bit of leftover grill seasoning, some cheap garlic powder. You see what we're doing. We're just cleaning out the spice rack. All right, you see I brought all that up to a boil. Now this is strong. It's smelling up the whole house, which that ain't a bad thing because it kind of smells like you're making a good old Cajun gumbo or something like that. It's got a little kick to it. But you want to dissolve all those spices. So make sure you bring this to a boil, and then we're going to remove it from the heat and cool it down. You can see it a little bit better now that it's done come off that boil, that hard boil anyway. That rosemary looks like somebody done cut grass in your turkey stuff, but I promise you that makes an excellent flavor addition to any brine. Once your brine's had a little chance to cool down, ice it. Do not miss this step. If you put a hot brine on a frozen bird, you'll be hating life. So make sure this is a cool brine going on a cold bird. Alright, next step, we're going to take the turkey's nightgown off. And it's going to go in a cooking bag. Now we just use the cooking bags because they're sized right for the weight of the bird. They work well for us. We'll put the bird in here, stand it in ice, and get help to put this brine in on top of it. Once we get it put in there on top, I'm just going to tie the top of it, let it sit in that ice, and we're going to thaw it that way for 3 days. Alright y'all, you see I got it in the cooking bag, and it's just going to sit down here on ice where it'll stabilize. Of course, I got to go get the ice, but just to show you. But Ethan's going to go ahead and pour the brine in on top. And like I said, this brine is cool. It's had ice in it. And the reason we do it in the bag is it just concentrates it on the turkey. It doesn't dilute in the ice water, and I don't have as much of a cleanup later on. So this was kind of our decision to do this. That's good, bud. Thank you. And now all I do is cinch this up, and it brings that brine all the way up to the top of that bird. We'll put a zip tie on that and call it good to go.
Well, welcome to our turkey day, Saturday, because I had to work on Thanksgiving. But we've taken the turkey out. It's plenty thawed up. I had to check it last night, and it still felt a little frozen. I guess that Orion's just too darn good at keeping ice. So I pulled it out and let it get a little warmer last night, and then put it back in the cooler. So it's good and thawed. You can see the reason that we use this bag is all this brine stays right here with the bird. Now the cooler's not jacked up. I don't have to clean out that cooler. So after we cook this, we're actually going to return it to the cooler because we're going to cook early. We're going to eat later, and by having this thing resting in that cooler, it'll still be just as hot as it was when it came off the fire. So that's another good reason to use this bag to keep your cooler clean, so you don't have to worry about fooling with that later. So you got the neck removed, the giblet bag's out of the other end, so this thing's ready to go. You can still see some of the rosemary stuck to it. We like that. That's fine. Ethan's going to go ahead and add a little olive oil. He's going to drizzle some of that on it. And that just helps to make that skin good and brown. We'll rub that in. And then you see the Cajun shake on the side. We like to have our Cajun seasoning. And we'll Cajun season the whole outside of this bird before it goes in the fryer. Alright, she's in the basket. Ethan's going in and fixing a few spots where it wiped the Cajun off of it when it went in the basket. So this is his masterpiece now. But she's about ready to jump in there. Alright, we got the Big Easy lit. She's coming on up. Ethan's got her in a basket, gonna drop her on in. This is gonna be 10 minutes a pound, and this is a 13-pound bird.
2 hours, 10 minutes.
So we'll see y'all in a little over 2 hours.
Okay, y'all, Ethan here. Dad had to go run to the store and pick up the family. Turkey's done, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it out of here because it is smelling awesome, and I bet you it's gonna taste even better than it smells and looks. There it is, done turkey.
By brining that meat, y'all, it just allows that flavor to get all in there. And there is not a piece of this, I mean, from the dark to the white, no matter what you have. Yes, the skin is great. It's always been my favorite part. But this allows the meat to be just succulent and flavorful all the way through. So, thank y'all for joining the Farrell family's fabulous feathered feast.